Let's take a look at what's been grabbing headlines around the world. And Florence is back on set with us again. Lots of focus on that international summit in Vienna on Monday.
That's right. That is, of course, regarding the Islamic State group threat in Libya. Now, Italian papers pay very close attention to what happens in Libya because, of course, it's very close to their shores. This is an article in Corriere della Sera that says yes to arms for the Tripoli government. Now, what the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council and the 15 other countries attending the meeting decided was essentially to amend the current UN embargo on Libya to essentially allow the international community to supply weapons to the UN-backed government there and train its forces. Now, is that really a good idea? That's what Corriere della Sera wonders. Now, Libya is already kind of overflowing with weapons, so is pumping more weapons into this area really a good idea? Isn't there a risk that these weapons could just fall into the wrong hands? Well, Corriere della Sera says, yes, that is a risk, but currently it's kind of the only choice that the international community has right now. If we take a look at another article, this is in El Watan, that's an Algerian paper. It says, look, this UN-backed government hardly has any authority right now, and it's really facing a major threat from the Islamic State group. Currently, the government only has power in Tripoli and Misrata, and it's not going to be able to extend that power without this kind of deal.
Of course, let's not forget that most European leaders will be keen to see this deal go ahead because obviously it's going to stem the flow of refugees leaving Libyan shores coming to Europe. That migrant crisis is continuing to grab headlines.
That's right. The Guardian on its front page today has an interesting report about the plight of Syrian refugees who were deported by plane under that very controversial EU-Turkey deal, that migrant swap deal. You can take a look at this article here on the front page. You can see these refugees have reportedly been detained in remote camps for 3 weeks with no access to lawyers and substandard living conditions. So the Guardian says all this casts doubt over EU claims that these refugees are being sent to a safe third country, especially because more of these deportations could take place in the coming days and weeks. Now, the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, he's been getting a lot of press for comments he also made about the way the West is dealing with the refugee crisis. You can see this article in The Independent. He was speaking over the weekend, last week rather, and he lambasted Western countries, claiming that they care more about gay rights and animal rights than the plight of Syrian refugees.
Okay, let's go back to the Italian press, where the health minister is back in the spotlight over plans to combat what she calls an apocalyptic decline in the country's birth rate.
That's right. This is Beatrice Lorenzin getting a lot of attention she's really alarmed essentially by the demographic trend in Italy. Essentially last year in 2015, only 488,000 babies were born in Italy. That is the lowest number of births ever since the modern state was founded in 1861. Now, she gives an interview to La Repubblica. This is actually 2 days ago, but this interview is getting really repeatedly interested in the press all over the place, really. Now, what she says in this interview is, if we carry on, we are going towards this apocalypse. So kind of harsh words there, but she does say we risk having a demographic collapse in Italy, and we need to act now before it's too late. Now, what is she suggesting? That's also getting a lot of attention. Let's take a look at the Times. They have an interesting way of talking about this. Italy bribes families to have more babies. Essentially, she says that the bonus for lower-income families, the monthly bonus they get for having babies, should be twice what it currently is, which is 80 euros. And on top of that, families that have several children should get more bonuses. And Italian papers, though, say this is actually a pretty good thing. Let's take a look at the Huffington Post, the Italian version of the Huffington Post. You can see they're saying this is a what they call the baby bonus is a breath of fresh air that could really help Italian families and encourage them to have babies.
Okay, let's move on. Staying with the Huffington Post, focus on Iran, which has launched a new crackdown on social media. We're going to talk about that, of course, in our bulletin this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Several fashion models have reportedly been arrested in Iran after posting photos of themselves not wearing, the hijab headscarf, the obligatory hijab headscarf. Now, one model was even forced to make a live confession on state television. You can read about it more in this article in the Huffington Post, which says that this crackdown comes after Tehran's top leader declared war on un-Islamic thoughts on the internet. Now, I pulled out an interesting article from Iran Wire. That is a London-based Persian website, and it's focusing on what Iranian authorities are saying here. They're saying that there's actually kind of a foreign conspiracy going on. It blames Instagram and other social media websites of essentially subverting Islamic Iranian lifestyle. And there's one person in particular that they blame for this conspiracy, and you can see it here. It's Kim Kardashian, the celebrity. Now you can see they're calling her the infiltrator. Other media are calling her the enemy of the Islamic Republic. Essentially, they suggest that she is kind of responsible for trying to sway young Iranians into this subversive kind of lifestyle.
Okay, and very quickly, we've heard about leaves on the track causing delays, but not sunny weather on the London Underground.
That's right. Now, the Underground, is the Underground, right? But there's a lot of the tracks that are overground as well. And it turns out that sunshine is quite a problem. You can read about it more here in The Independent. This is a very serious article that explains that, when there's too much sun in the spring and in the autumn, essentially it blocks train conductors from being able to look at their CCTV monitors to see if everyone's in the train, et cetera. So sunshine is delaying the trains. What I love about this article, though, is it is actually the top article, the most popular article on the Independent's website right now. So people are very interested in sunshine.
Indeed, we can understand why. Thanks very much, Florence, for that spin through the international press. We're taking